It's been a minute since I posted a video because I have been working on a new theme for my junk journaling, um, digital things that I make and sell. And so I combined a couple of things that are interesting to me, and then I went down rabbit holes. So I have this new theme coming through. I called it Ancestories or Ancestors and Stories combined together because the thing that I love about working on genealogy is finding stories and like inferring stories from certain things that have happened. And when you look at old newspaper clippings and things like that, it's fun to see all of that. For today, I'm just going to show you um, how I would put together a spread in my junk journal. I've created a new envelope junk journal and called it Family History. And this is great because I can, as I get things, I can print them and stick them in the envelope. So I printed a sheet, and I have been thinking about the layout that I want to do. So now I have it. So that one's going to go on last. And before I can do anything, I need to do some inking of the older photos. So they get that nice older patina. So here we go. Gonna do a couple here. So this was a fun thing that I found, which is uh, it is my grandfather, and it tells you what his name and where he was from and what his major and minor are. It's from his college yearbook. And his major was sociology and his minor was Bible, which really fits. So these are mostly my grandparents these are my grandparents on my dad's side. So I labeled this page dad's side. This is a photo of my grandmother's freshman class in college, and she's right here. And they went to the same school. Grandma did not finish college, but grandpa did. And this is a picture of them from, I would say they're in their 60s here. Um, they often had great portraits like this one, but I love this one because they're both smiling, and you can see the smile in my grandfather's eyes there. I like that one. And then I found this online. This is a drawing that they did some portraits of World War One soldiers, and my great grandfather fought in World War One, and so he has this beautiful portrait, and I just think it's so cool. And I probably don't need to ink this one because I left the black layer on it. I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to cut it down, but I think I'm going to leave it that way. Okay. So I did fill in all of my family tree, and this is my particular family tree. So this layout in particular has one person and then their parents, their parents, their parents, and their parents. So when you're putting together a family tree, it's hard to do like one document to rule them all. And I will show you an example of one like that in a second. And so I decided that it would be cool if I was junk journaling all this stuff to break it up into stories of particular parts and pieces of the family tree. And so I started with me, and I think this will be a fun way to do it. So now I printed all these pictures that I had found. Some on the internet. The most fun I've had lately is with newspapers.com, where you can go in there and search for names. And so you just put in a search name and a place and try to find your relatives in the newspapers. And they go back like far, far back. And I am such a nerd about like old timey um, writing and everything else. So I've been reading all these old documents, trying to suss out some sides of the story that we have a lot of like conflicting information about. So, Buford's dad was Austin, and Austin's dad was David. David did a large family tree for us a long time ago. Um, but there was some conflicting information in there. So, our original ancestor that came over came from Spain, even though my surname is very English. And what had happened is the kids had gone down to, so in the inheritance laws of old, if you were not the oldest, you didn't really get that much stuff. And so the younger kids would go off and go to make their fortune. And so my younger kids went off to Spain to make their fortune. There was land, and they thought they would go and farm down there, which is primarily what they were doing agriculture wise in England. And then they ended up staying and marrying, but then moving on to America, not super, like maybe one or two generations in Spain. Then, when they left Spain, the family lore was that they were second or third cousins of the monarch, and that they fell out of favor and had to um, move out of there pretty quickly. But the problem is when they get to America, there's not great documentation on how they arrived. Um, and then there's some documentation that indicates that our original ancestor was considered to be a mulatto, and so a mulatto in that era would have been someone of mixed Spanish and uh, African blood, and so it's possible that there was someone who had come over from Mauritania, so that's where you would get the African blood. But the story doesn't like fully come together. Um, and so it's hard to know what's the truth and what's not the truth. So that's always been a fun family one to track down. Okay. So I also, with my new offering on Etsy, I made these stickers also to go with that. So, all right. And I'm just going to put a few things on here to make it interesting. And I love these. I made these using my Cricut. Took a little bit of doing. But if you buy the pages, I give you the link to the Cricut file to do the cutting. And then I was going to, oh yeah. All right. So here's all my cousins and all their spouses and all their children's and all my children's. Okay, so that is my finished page. Now I'm going to show you my husband's family had a lawyer in New York as one of his ancestors, and he made this family tree. Can you see that? It is so complex and super hard to read, but I am loving like pulling apart the pieces of this and figuring that out. So this was made in July of 1892. So that's kind of a fun piece, but that is what sent me on the simplification route. Um, and here we go with this page being done. I'm going to tuck it in here. I could glue it now. I just don't. I want to wait a little bit front parts of the glue to dry, and then I'll glue it in here. So there's my family history project. I'm really excited to launch it. Have a good one and happy crafting.